Matinee game here on the beautiful sunny Sunday afternoon in Adelaide. It's just about 1 o'clock and we're ready to roll. My name's Andrew Sperling with my partner Peter Wyatt. We are the 10th inning. We are very pleased to be bringing this telecast to you. I'll give you a bit of a rundown of their lineups here. Hightower for the Cavalry leading off at shortstop, Stovall centre field, Bashini second base, Barnes is at third base, Connect at left field, Jacobs catching, Sloane's at first base, Matavvesi comes into the DH slot, Callaway's at right field, and Motta will take the mound for the Cavalry. For the Bite, Creswell playing shortstop, Lodge at left field, Lattimore centre field, Choi first base, Welsh at third base, Roger at right field, Cam's DH and Kate Bredd second base, and Jackson Brebner-Russ comes behind the dish for the Adelaide Bite, and Sonji Kim will be taking the mound. The Korean, who last week took a heavy comebacker and it nearly knocked him senseless, but he's jumping back out there, and it's very good to see that he's not a little bit gun shy, so it'll be very interesting. I'm going to be joined for, I'm not sure how long today, but we'll take everything that we get from Chris Coleman from the Cavalry, and it's great to have Chris along board with us here again today.
Great to be here. And I'm here now. There we go. Great to be here, Sterlo. I've got to say, I really like your town, and you've got plenty of nice watering holes. And my friend who I'm staying with decided to show me at least half of them last night. So most enjoyable night at the ballpark, most enjoyable night afterwards as well. And looking forward to a beautiful afternoon of baseball. Conditions just about perfect for the game, I think. Yeah,
you're dead right, Chris. And obviously from, yesterday where the Bite put out a little bit of a B-grade performance, I think for all of us sitting here and just for the last game, it'd be lovely to see them fire up and make a real game of it. I know the Cavalry, it's still right on the line for them. They're pressing for spots 1, 2 or 3. So it means
one or two now.
One or two, yep. Well, that's awesome. And, that means a lot because that'll give them their little rest and allow the other guys to play off and see who's good enough to challenge them. So still a lot, travelling on this game for the Cavalry, Chris.
No, indeed, and the weather in Sydney making things very difficult for the Brisbane Bandits because it has been bucketing down in Sydney since late yesterday, I'm led to believe, and certainly still raining there. The game, last I heard, which was scheduled for a 12:30 start in Sydney, they'd already pushed it back 6 hours in the hope that the rain was going to stop. Some reports I've heard from Blacktown, and perhaps I would guess the Summer of Baseball guys probably watching us right now as they're not doing a lot else up there. Might be able to let us know whether that's been advanced any further, but the unofficial word I've heard is that there's no way they're going to get on the diamond there at Blacktown today. So it comes down to Canberra wins this. If Canberra wins this and if Perth wins tonight, then that game, that last game in Sydney, will be unnecessary because it'll be Canberra will have top spot, unable to be caught by Sydney, and Perth would have third spot, unable to be caught by Brisbane. So not the way you want finals spots to be decided, but that may be a bit of a better outcome than having to play that game Monday or possibly Tuesday.
Exactly.
And then back up for finals baseball the following day and potentially leaving the league in limbo if Canberra doesn't win today. If your guys get up today, the venues for the postseason still remain up in the air. So let's see how it all plays out. Yeah, no, look, I think that's in some respect a terrific result. At least there's not someone saying, hey, we've got to catch this game up, because that's not fair. If it all just falls into place and we're all happy, and as we've said, really all the way along, that the three teams have been by far the most consistent and outstanding. I think it's terrific that it's fallen that way. So Sonji Kim starts things up with a strike on lead-off Cody Hightower. And I've got to say, it's just really fantastic to see Sonji out there, because as I said last week, probably the saving grace for him is that he didn't really see the ball coming off the bat, and he was obviously in quite a relaxed state when he got collected straight on the middle of the chin. And, if he had have tensed, perhaps he might have broken some bones. And, you can imagine that he's just a fraction gun shy, and he's just taken his while to get mentally ready, and so game 4 was his game. So here he is on a 2-1 count, and that ball's hit through the 3-4 hole for a base hit for Cody Hightower to
get things rolling again straight away for the Cavalry.
Had a chat with Cody before yesterday's game. He's got some questions about his form. Not that it's down at all, because he's I think coming into today with about a 333 average. But he can't work out how, you know, it really has been up and down. He started the season 1 for 18 at bats, and then a couple of weeks later his average was up over 400. But since then he's really been remarkably consistent. You know, did early in the season wander up and down the batting order, batting as high as 1 and as low as 9 at various stages. So, but he really has now settled into that lead-off role and has proven so consistent in getting on base early in games to set up early runs for Canberra.
Yeah, well, hitting is a streaky thing, and that's why you've got to be so mentally balanced, because you're going to have your ups and your downs, and at the end of the day it all balances out and you're a 300 hitter. So, you know, again, I just tip my hat to those sorts of guys, because they keep knuckling, keep doing the same things, keep laying the same swings, and it's just all going to balance out. It's a wonderful thing how it all works, but it only works for the better athletes, and Cody is one of those.
Stovall fouls it away outside third base.
One here.
Again, Ryan Stovall has proven to be a big hitter at various stages of the season for Canberra this year. 7 home runs thus far on the year, and a good combination there as well of doubles and triples in there, and no real one direction that he favours. He really just does, you know, get hold of it and go, and it can be. I've seen him go over the left field fence, I've seen him go over the right field fence. Haven't seen too many go over centre field at Canberra. That's because we've got the very big batter's eye there out beyond the centre field fence, and I haven't seen one go over that yet. Although we did have one go over the scoreboard there a couple of weeks ago. Stovall again fell much further, hit down the third base line again, off into the Adelaide right bullpen area.
I can't tell you how impressed I've been with this guy, not only defensively but certainly offensively, and I'm just flicking through my sheets and there's not too many I'm seeing without a hit here or there. He perhaps had a little bit of a slow start in the series, but boy, last night he came alive and showed some real pop.
And a real leader out there in the outfield too, in centre field. Outside.
Good breaking pitch by Kim, but he's just missed outside. So a 1-2 count here on Stovall, with Hightower on first, and they've been also a little bit dangerous on base as well. They've got some wheels, they're good athletes, and they certainly set the table up as he just chops that ball down foul. So with Bashini, who is some sort of player, Chris, I mean, you'd be able to tell me a whole lot more, but as I said, I've been licking my lips to just see him live, and he's everything and more that I was hoping to see. He's a real player.
Yeah, there was an article about him a couple of weeks ago, and I'll see if I can find it actually while I'm up here, because just detailing some of the things that he's gone through, some of the injury woes that he had prior to coming out to Australia. And here he is now with the fly ball out to shallow right field, and easily taken by Roger out there. So that's 1 down, 1 on for Canberra. But yeah, Bashini he really is turning into the complete baseballer here. Almost, you'd think, you know, a half decent performance with the bat today and the Triple Crown will be his. I mean, he's got the home run title unless something dramatic happens. He's got the RBIs by, you know, about 15. So, you know, the only question is, will the average hold up at the right side of 350?
Yeah, well, one would be thinking so. He'd have to be a little bit of a favourite for the Helms Award too. He's just had a fantastic year, and he's a really smooth moving second baseman as well. So again, one of the beauties that we've got, and Kim picks off to first and had Hightower going the other way, so there's potentially something moving along there. Trying to get those athletic wheels of Hightower moving. So Kim, from the set, very long pause, and he steps off. He sensed the same thing, that Hightower might be on the move. So he's varied his timing as a good pitcher does. And again, he sets to come to Bashini and he gets it inside. It's a good pitch by Kim. Nice velocity on that fast ball, and he got it right through that hitter's hole inside, which is a common hole with most, an incredibly difficult spot to hit. A well located in fastball. He swung around it. He picks Hightower off, gets him scrambling back to first.
I don't know whether Hightower was quite ready for that one. He looked a little disorganised in the dive back in.
He did. He was very eager to get back, but he's got a good lead. Certainly got a base runner's lead out there. Oh, he had a little edge, and Kim with a lovely slider out. So here we are, folks, after a full season for the Adelaide Bite. It's all coming to an end, and after yesterday's performance was a little bit out of kilter for them. Regardless of win, lose or draw, they've gone to the wire and put a big effort in. And yesterday was a little bit sloppy from them, but on the same thing, Cavalry just came out and went bang, bang, bang and sat them back on their heels, and that's what a good team does also.
I found this article about Adam Bashini that I was referring to, but Jay Floyd wrote this. It's been
Hightower's off, and Bashini is a good swing at that and nicks it to the backstop, timing spot on.
In 2009, had a broken hand, suffered on a hit by a pitch, but he still led his team there in batting average of 422 and 11 home runs and 61 RBI. So, Triple Crown status is nothing unusual for him, but he stuck that out, played through, and wound up having surgery quite some time later, where they took some cartilage, and I think it was actually took some cartilage out of his knee and implanted it in his wrist as Hightower goes. But it's a ball, and Bashini gets the walk, and I don't think he'll mind that. I doubt that he'll be thinking about the Triple Crown, but it's there, it's up for grabs, and anything that can preserve that high average will certainly go through there. But yeah, so he lost cartilage due to that hand injury. He couldn't throw very well. He couldn't do any weightlifting, and hitting was a problem for him, but he still played through until they went for that radical surgery on him. And then the Phillies cut him. And so he's out here in Australia and really playing for his future. And, you'd hope that some of the exposure, the reports from these games, and potentially televised finals baseball on MLB Network will expose him to a wider audience and get him signed up as we see Barnes fly out to right field as well. So that's 2 down, 2 on. Top of the first, no score.
It's a line drive to right field to continue his form, not necessarily obviously hitting safely there, but hitting it right off the barrel of the bat, which is just a great sign for a hitter, seeing the ball well. And he's been a real power pack, playing good third base and certainly being an offensive danger.
The Cavs fans are here in voice today.
Hey, look, they probably nearly outnumber us at the moment. It's just terrific to see. We've travelled, come to beautiful Norwood Oval, and I hope they're enjoying everything Adelaide's had to offer. The city's been alive with the Tour Down Under here, which attracts enormous crowds from around Australia and the world, being a world-class cycling race. So just great to see the Cav boys here, and with their connect tops on, a few of them, and that ball was fouled by Marcus onto Cooper's Hill.
Really has become a massive fan favourite with the Cavalry.
Why not? It's a bit of a quirky name, but sometimes that doesn't work for you. But it's worked for Marcus. He's really a good athlete again, and a good baseballer, and another great swing. Great swing. But he fouls to the backstop.
You're not sure if I mentioned it at all, but last night in that brief stint I had up here with you, Sterlo, but he started the season wearing number 51. I think that lasted one series, possibly two, and the discussion with a name like Connect, why don't you wear 4? And lo and behold, out he came wearing number 4, and and that's when the chant started. We also have the little bugle call, charge bugle call, which at Narrabundah is always followed by the crowd cheering charge at the end of it, except when Marcus is batting. They play that and they all yell out 4. So they really have adopted him as a favourite son in Canberra. As he strikes out looking at that one, it did break away, but must have caught just the edge of the zone, and a little bit of a jam escape there by your boys.
Absolutely. Very important for the bite, but as has been the case all year when Sonji's been on the mound, we're in the game. So we'll have a short break. We'll see you back here very soon.
Hi, I'm Kelly and this is Mark, and we are now Energy Smart.
We sure are.
We've recently updated our old ducted air conditioner with a Duct Air Energy Smart system.
And that meant we didn't have to replace our old air conditioning unit.
And now it works like a dream. It's super quiet and it saves us a ton of money.
An Energy Smart delivery system can save up to 45% on running costs and make your system perform the way you want.
And now I can use my air conditioner whenever I want.
Now that's Energy Smart.
So welcome back, everyone. Bottom of the first. No score by the Cavalry in the top of the dig. And Jeremy Creswell lead off for the bite.
Chris Motter on the mound for the Cavalry as Creswell checks his swing on one that's maybe just a little outside for ball 2. Motter, a very different proposition for the bite batters today compared to Holdscombe last night. One very much inside and draws some dust too. So getting behind in the count early is Chris Motter. From memory, 3-3 thus far in the season.
Very good, Chris. You're a man who follows the game. That's exactly correct. You've got a 3-3 record, ERAing at 6. 11 games. Just another one of those sorts of guys that just comes out and does the job. ERA at 6, a little bit high, but no doubt a competitive guy. So it's going to be very important for the Adelaide bite to get some early scoreboard pressure.
Yeah, if you look at his delivery action compared to Holdscombe last night, Holdscombe 6'9" and pitches very, very upright with the arm very high. Motter falls away a little bit more towards first base with the angle, as driven out to left field. So this will get at least a run at the second. And Lodge goes around to second, doesn't chance the run any further. So he lodged to first and Creswell round to second. But this will be interesting from Motter. to see where he goes from here. Has come into a different spot in the pitching rotation. Usually has been pitching the third game of the season, but today seeing him pitching the fourth.
So he's a strikeout pitcher. He's got 40 for the season, which is third best, with Granning with 64 strikeouts and Holdscombe, the big fella, with 48. Lattimore check swings inside, takes a ball.
So I'd say he's just taking a bit of time to get used to your mound here. It's one of the few variables, isn't it? The shape and the texture and everything in the mound.
Absolutely.
In the game.
Yeah. No, it's a super important thing, because there are any little holes that occur, or when your foot hole where you place your leading foot just not quite right. And it's a good point, Chris, as that's a fastball down the middle that Lattimore swings through on a 2-0 count. One of those undervalued things, because it's really important. Obviously, all pitches don't fall in the same hole, and definitely left and right. Hoping they'd be around the place, because that front foot is obviously very important, with their weight to flow through to the plate.
And 3-1 the count here for Lattimore with 2 on. He's basically got the free pass at this one.
And he takes his lick and he just misses it.
Yeah, maybe just a little foul tip on that. Either way, takes the count to full 3-2. And Motta just struggling with the radar. Jacobs comes out for a little bit of a chat out there on the mound. Just to try and see if he can settle things down. It is a little bit of a different lineup for Canberra today, with a couple of players coming in. So Matavvesi having a crack as the designated hitter today. Deceptively quick around the bases. You look at him and you don't think he's that fast, but I believe over 90 feet he's actually the fastest bloke in the team.
Wow.
Doesn't look it, but I've been reliably informed that I've never seen the foot race.
Well,
and also
very kindly described him as a barrel on legs, so that's incredible to hear that the guy's got some speed, but it goes to show it doesn't necessarily always matter about physique, and some beautiful athletes aren't necessarily that quick. So yeah, that's a real asset for him, because he took some big swings last night, Matavvesi. He's there to hit.
And Jacobs has been out and had a chat to Motta, and I think he said, look, try working the inside edge of the plate instead of the outside edge, and that seems to have worked for the first 2 pitches to Choi being called as strikes, and now Choi asking questions of the umpire, because he may be feeling they were just a little bit too close to him for comfort, but Choi does bat in close to the plate, doesn't he?
He sure does. He thought they were a bit low, and he gets an outside pitch that he swings late at, which is fair enough where it was located, and he foul tipped it to the backstop. So he's right around the mark on it. Didn't put a big swing on it, but with 0-2, that's the job. Just shorten a fraction, keep your swing a little bit shorter, get those hands to the ball, and look to drive it somewhere. And Choi gets one down the middle, and as I've always said with these Koreans, Japanese, they've got a very unique style of hitting, and they often dip their weight out of the box, seem to be travelling to first when they're hitting, and sometimes it's a little bit of a downfall for them. They've still got to sit and wait and keep their head over the plate, and he just turns one around the corner. They've got a chance at a force out at home, and with an okay sort of throw, Sloan just gets the job done, but very well managed by Jacobs at the plate, who at full stretch picked one out of the dirt and forced the runner out.
He really did have to reach there, didn't he?
He sure did.
So Canberra working hard to keep the bite off the scoreboard. Chris Motta's got a bit of work to get him still to do to get himself out of this jam. He's faced 4 batters and hasn't looked like striking anyone out just yet, as Welch comes in to bat.
And Steph has been really, I mean, Choi's leading our statistics, but considering Steph had a couple of weeks off at the start of the season just to recharge the batteries. And a shout out to our great Marshall batteries. Holler for a Marshall, as we do anywhere around the country. And Steph has bounced back into things here and been a real clutch sort of guy, and he's just a class act. And he needs to produce something here for his team. Get him a little bit kick-started and rev things up. It's when they play at their best, when most teams play at their best, and he's popped up to Barnes at third base. He's had to wobble around a little bit with it. It was called an infield fly anyway. He still takes the catch.
Well, you don't want to take the risk.
No, definitely not. It's good practice.
Now with 2 outs. Bases loaded. That brings to the plate right fielder.
So Angus Rozier steps up the list a little bit here to hit in the 6 hole. Probably not really stepping up actually. It's been about where he's been, but sort of been platooning with Cam.
This guy's given Canberra nightmares this season.
Well, let's hope he can make you get a few Panadol out at the minute, because we really need Angus to fire up a fraction. He's got some pop, and it'd be really awesome to see him hit one right off the barrel of the bat, win, lose or draw, just to get his confidence up a little bit and reconfirming to him that his swing's on the money.
Well, what is it? He's got 8 home runs for the season, and what was it? Was it 4 or 5 in that one series? Over at our ballpark a few weeks back.
He certainly had a weekend to remember.
Oh, did he what?
As that ball sinks in for a 3-0 count. So he'll be taking, one would imagine, last game, and Free Willy sort of swinger, so he might be given a green light, but I wouldn't be thinking so. He gets one downstairs, picks a walk and scores a run on it. He's been very good this year, Roger, at picking walks, which is supporting his 8 home runs.
Yeah, 26.
He's picked up 26. Choi, the number 3 hitter, generally picked up 25. So they've been doing a really quite a good job as power hitters to make them throw strikes.
Yeah, Michael Collins, the Canberra coach, is out having a chat, and the whole conference is going on. We've got 5 players up on the mound, so we've got the catcher, we've got the pitcher, we've got first and third base. I know it's second and third base in there as well, but
Cody and Sloaney don't like getting in on the team combos.
Well, you can wind up with too many people out there, and then no one remembers what anyone said.
Well, the mound's only so big, Chris. Perhaps there's not room for 7 or 8 people with the umpire heading out there as well.
Well, what's the record for the most number of people on a baseball mound? Gee, Motta just really struggling to find his mark today.
So Motta delivers, and Cam's flowing one out with 2 out to straight away centre field. Quite easily collected out there by Stovall, who's a good outfielder. So we'll take a short break and we'll be back with the top of the first. The Bide have snatched a run and taken that as their lead. We'll see you in a moment.
Jacobs in the box for Canberra, going to the top of the second. And it is Adelaide leading 1-0. Jacobs takes a swing, fouls it off into the back. And I was talking to his mum before the game. She's a very, very proud mum.
Well, why wouldn't she be? I mean, any boy playing ABL is quite an accomplishment.
Actually, it was Sloaney's mum. Sorry, not Jacobs' mum. I always get those two confused, and I don't know why. It's just always do. He's behind an account here with the 0-2 now. And now we got time called. They are very similar in build, so.
Yeah, Chris, stop trying to weasel out, mate.
Okay,
You've got to obviously get it right at some stage.
Can I just say I've got a hangover and get
Might have to be maybe the numbers or just something as he drives the ball hard to second base, and Cape Red makes a fairly routine little 4-3. Got an email here from Jeff Compton, and hi guys, thanks for the coverage. You missed most of the last game. Will it be archived? When? Yes, if you go to the 10th inning or 10thinnings.com.au website, all the games are archived on there, so you'll be able to get on board at your leisure and watch it. So thanks for the email, Jeff, and your kind words, as that ball's flared into left field, and Lodge got on his bike and read it well off the bat and made an easy catch.
Yeah, Jeff, a big Cavalry fan, lives, if I remember rightly, Jeff lives in Goulburn, about an hour's drive from Canberra, and with the wet weather that was around last night, I'm pretty sure he would have been called in some way, shape or form. He works for the Rural Fire Service, and they would have been out helping the State Emergency Service in really wild weather in some parts of the southern tablelands in New South Wales last night, so maybe I'll be why he missed most of last night's game. It was a good one, Jeff. You'll love it when you get to see it.
On Australia Day too, Jeff. Again, we've got to tip our hat to you, mate. He's one of the great volunteers, and many volunteers around the country helping people out when they need it the most. So what a legend you are. So sit back and get yourself a nice bevy and watch the game. The Cavalry absolutely smashed us, so I'm sure it'll be an enjoyable couple of hours for you.
The powerfully built Matavvesi with a 1-on-1 count takes the next pitch. And it's just on the outside edge of the zone. Goes ahead the pitcher goes ahead 1-2 now. Oh, and Joe from Bateman's Bay is back again.
He's one of our regulars, mate. So he's got obviously some accommodation that the boys use when they were Sydney, because it sort of PMAC was saying Joe will get the booking done, and it seemed like Joe's a bit of a hotelier or an accommodation man. But great to have you on board, and I'm not sure I can give you 1 ounce of knowledge about Bateman's Bay, but it sounds like a great place.
Oh, it's a beautiful part of the world as Matavvesi swings at a high pitch that would have been better off left alone. The sucker pitch. And he strikes out. Very quick 3 up, 3 down for the Cavalry there. Going to the bottom of the second, it is the Bite, the home team, leading 1-0.
See you in a moment.
After 75 years, men and women alike still holler his name. Stranded with a dead battery or need a jump? Out of fuel? Got a flat or need a tow? Just holler for Marshall's Roadside Rescue Service. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, Marshall will rescue you and have you back on the road at surprisingly little cost. No annual membership or roadside joining fees required. So for batteries and breakdowns, just holler for a Marshall. Call 1300 Marshall.
Cakebread. One pitch, and again, not in Motta's favour. Good coaching here by Michael Collins to give Chris Motta the chance to regain some confidence, because that's going to be very, very important, regardless of whether Canberra play next week or the week after. The confidence factor for a pitcher like Chris Motta, who will be in that starting rotation, is immense. Cakebread fouls another one away up onto the roof of the stand outside the third baseline. Motta won't mind that. He'll be happy that he's starting to draw some swings, because that first inning, 3 walks in there. So always hard when you just put that give that many free passes.
You bet, and he somehow got through the serious engine room of Choi and Welsh, where he got Choi on a fielder's choice, and he popped Welshie up to third base as an infield fly. So he could have been hurt a whole lot more than one, but that's how it all pans out sometimes, and he ends up striking Cakebread out, and that'd be a good confidence boost for him.
I think it was the change-up that he went for on that as well, because Cakebread seemed to be through the swing well and truly before the ball got to him.
So Jackson Brebner-Russ, who's a strong catcher that's come through the system here, in the local system here in Adelaide, and playing for the Sturt Saints. Shout out to all of our Saints people who may be tuning in. Saw big Mark Hutton and Caddy down at Glenelg today.
Comebacker.
A good effort. He gets a one bouncer Motta, and he collects it beautifully and works his way over to first base and makes the out. It's not a bad piece of the ball there by Brebner-Russ. A little bit stiff. He would have got a base hit up the middle otherwise.
We're back up the top of the order with Jeremy Creswell again. Yeah, Motta's certainly looking more comfortable this inning.
And I would suggest that Jeremy will be maybe getting yesterday's game and trying to delete it as quickly as he can. He had a little bit of a rough one for a boy of his ability. One of the assets that he has is to knuckle down and come back again, and he ends up striking out on a pitch that just about travelled the required distance, but well handled by Jacobs, and he picks up, tags him out, and Cressy sort of chucks his gloves and helmet over and shrugs his way to shortstop, really believing and hoping that he can finish off a little bit better than he is at the moment, because if you reckon the Cavalry inning was quick, I reckon that one halved it.
I was trying to think, there was 3, maybe 4 pitches to Cakebread. There's possibly only 3 to Creswell, and maybe two to Brebner-Russ.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, we talk about small things, and you just mentioned how Chris was... So welcome back, everyone. And Sonji Kim, who's doing a good job, but He loses the radar on that first pitch and pumps it high and in at Callaway, and he hits him right in the either the shoulder or the bicep. But hey, he's a nicely built young man, and Chris was just telling me what a wonderful character he is too. And again, they're all the sorts of the pieces of the puzzle that come together with a group that it takes all sorts, and we really relish, I think, the opportunity to play with people from all parts of the world, and especially when they're good lads. And it's fantastic to hear that Antonio just is a terrific kid, and an excellent push bunt there by Hightower, and he's very
doesn't like the
disappointed.
decision.
No. And I would suggest that Cam was nowhere near the bag, and that's what his...
Michael Collins is now saying he doesn't like the decision either. This is where you miss the full dirt infield, because there's nowhere for Collins to go and kick dust. Now, we've got some news while this exchange is going on. There's some news here on the big game in Sydney has now been rescheduled to Wednesday, which will determine the final placings. That is far from an ideal situation for that is a far from ideal situation for Brisbane if they're in a must-win game, and Sydney if they're in a must-win situation to determine whether they host or are whether they're hosting next week or getting the week off. So I'm pretty sure the Blue Sox might start cheering for Canberra and Perth at this stage of proceedings, just to get a bit of certainty about their preparation for next week. Because they're playing on the Wednesday. Yeah, I know they're professional baseballers and used to funny schedules. That's a really tough call.
It sure is, and I thought we were sort of half of the belief that it really didn't make much difference to standings. But I suppose there's still some results to come here, and perhaps when it all pans out, and if it does become a little bit of a dead game, that they might show some... they have to schedule it. They have to give them a direction and know what they're doing. So perhaps, as we said, if the pennies fall and it's a semi-waste of time, they'll just use their common sense and can it. So Stovall, who we have been singing the praises of, is in the box on an 0-2 count, and Sonji doing a terrific job at the moment. He gets a little waste pitch outside. Brebner Russ, all those bits and pieces that we're talking about, where Motta in that last dig was struggling like crazy, and we've come out and made him throw 8 pitches or so, and just not good enough. Simply, we should be taking pitches and making him throw strikes and put another 20-odd pitch inning into him and see, get into their pen. But we've just allowed him to stretch and go again and build some confidence. And that's perhaps why Adelaide is a 4th or 5th ranked team, and we're playing a top-notcher.
But again, as for most of this series, there isn't a lot between these sides. We saw the one-run game Thursday night, the one-run game Friday night. Last night, everything just clicked for Canberra. Stovall, ground ball, out to short, should be out. Oh, we're going to get Callaway in the rundown play between second and third, and he might escape this if he can get around fast enough. He's lost his footing, and that'll do him in. And now the potential double play. No, the ball's gone adrift at second there, but yeah, bouncing all over the place was Callaway. Had he not lost his footing there, he may have been able to get himself out of trouble there, but just on the turn, the second turn, heading back towards third, it didn't work out for him. So that's 2 down for Canberra now, and they still trail 1-0 here in the top of the third.
It's always interesting because when you are a runner in a rundown play, I really don't care what anyone says. You have no idea what you're doing. You're just changing direction and going backwards and forwards and think that you might be fooling someone. And it would be always interesting if you did take a bit of vision of those and show the guy and say, look, I know it would have been a massive instinct, but if you had to kept going, then you probably would have made it, because he certainly got a long way towards third base. But anyway, here we are back again with Bashini at the plate, and he questions that call, which was a little low and a little out. And one thing for sure, when a man's in the red hot form, I tell you, he'd be able to nearly give you by millimetre exactly where that pitch was. And Sonji gets one up and in that was a tad wild, and it was tailing, and Brebner Russ could only get the tip of his glove on it, so it goes to the backstop.
Well, Bashini will be looking to add another RBI to his tally for the season now.
Well, he might be looking to add another bomb to it as well, because he took a couple of swings, as have a few of the Cav boys. A couple of great swings, and only fractions away from sending another long ball over this fence here at Norwood Oval, which has had some people run into it this year, Chris.
So I've heard, and there's an outline of one of them over there.
Yeah, it's not exactly where it all happened, but yeah. A couple of the boys, those panels have needed some panel beating work through the season.
Yeah, Colorbon doesn't have a lot of give in it.
Well, nor do the steel posts in between, and I tell you really, and that's just creamed by Bashini. And he has unloaded and hit one straight away centre field. And Canberra take the lead on a 2-run bomb to Adam Bashini.
You did call it before it happened, Spurlow.
Well, mate, I don't have to be Einstein. He's just red hot.
I'm pleasantly surprised by how many Cavs fans have made it over here. We've got the cowbell, we've got the Connect 4 crew, and a very, very happy bunch of men in grey and orange down there welcoming Bashini back to the bench.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, we've seen Kim thus far, and Cam is trying to take a pop fly that ends up going into dead territory anyway, but he was wobbling around like Robbie the Robot there, trying to get a hold of that one.
So Barnes with the bases vacant in front of him, and his team leading 2-1, gets a big piece. Sadly, the direction is lacking. It has gone up, 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 and down, down, down into the glove of Creswell. And maybe that'll improve his demeanour a little bit. He hasn't had the best of the past 24 hours, has he?
He sure ain't, but hey, let's hope he keeps on rolling, because we have a great game going on here at the moment. We've completed top 3, and the Cavalry via what is really becoming quite boring, if that's possible, with another Bashini bomb. They take a 2-1 lead. We'll be back with you in a moment. How's this for a great offer? Ductair is offering a free upgrade to their university-tested and fully labelled Energy Smart system to all baseball fans. All you have to do is mention Tony Mazzini, Mutz, or even the 10th innings to your local Ductair dealer. Ductair's Energy Smart system is the only system that has been tested and proven by the Uni of SA to save you huge amounts off your power bill and increase the comfort in your home. All this from an SA-owned and operated carbon-neutral company. Now that's Energy Smart, and that's a great offer.
You're watching the Canberra Cavalry versus the Adelaide Bite on the 10th inning. Chris Coleman guesting in the box for another inning or two maybe as we move into the bottom of the third. And it's Lodge batting for the Bite. Canberra leading 2-1. Lodge takes a big swing. I reckon that was outside and probably not worth going at. Lodge did have a big fly ball out to left field his first time at bat for today. Motta does seem to have just got a little bit more aggressive in what he's doing out there on the mound now. So maybe that first inning where things just didn't go right for him and he had to endure the visit to the mound from the coach, maybe that's just got him a little bit more fired up. They're angry pitches. I never liked facing angry pitches.
Sure, no. Certainly when they've got a bit of a live arm.
And there's a bit more of a snap in the action now, we're seeing. So maybe he's warmed up a bit more too. You know, maybe the warm-up, day games, it can be a bit hard early in the day to get the warm-up going. Maybe he wasn't quite fully prepared before getting out there on the mound as well.
Yeah. Well, that ball is blasted. And if that obviously is on correct, it is out. It is a foul. So that was one long foul. You got plenty of that, Quincy Lattimore. But I still go back to that dig, and it was just not good enough for the Adelaide bite with 8-9-1, all sort of, guys that should be prepared to take a few pitches and should know better, to just let him slide through such a cheap dig, because that was quick and easy, and he was under some pressure.
It's made a huge difference on the game as Lattimore, again, tries to put it somewhere into orbit, doesn't connect. 1-2 is the count on him now.
And a well-located pitch by Motta, knowing Lattimore has a little hole in his swing in there. You got to perfectly execute a little slider or some sort of pitch similar, and he just got him swinging straight around it and through it. So now we're sort of starting to understand why this guy is a strikeout pitcher, because after that, and in 5 hitters, he struck out 4 after a bit of a slow start. So
he's got this great knack of drawing the swing at things that guys should know better. So I don't know what it's like. I don't know what it is about the pitches. As Choi takes the first one, it breaks away. Yeah, I don't know how he does it, but he just manages to pull a swing on something that people should really not be chasing.
Yeah, well, I don't think he's an overpowering type of pitcher. He'd probably be, a mid-80 type guy. And location is everything. So as we know, hitters find it very difficult not to swing at pitches close to their eyes, and he uses a bit of height sometimes, and he's got the ability to get a bit of tail outside. And if you don't have to be overpowering, but if you hit spots and you have movement, you're a mighty fine pitcher. And here he is. And Choi's got plenty on that. That ball is gone. He's hit one 400 feet into centre right field. And the G-Man Choi, who we've come to know delivers such blows as that, has racked up another home run. And he's a very, very laconic sort of guy, G-Man. But boy, he can hit.
Home run number 8 for the season for him. Levels the game up as well. The first 2 games of this series swung backwards and forwards. Last night didn't, but we're back to the resumption of normal service for this series, you'd think, with Adelaide now levelling it up at 2 in the bottom of the third.
And you're dead right, Chris. We just saw a couple of terrific games, tight and right down to the wire, and it just took some miraculous stuff either offensively or defensively to win. And then last night we had a little bit of a blowout, but we're just right back on track. And I'm so happy because the last few digs of last night was like pulling teeth from a bite perspective, and just even a game, it just had petered, and it was all too easy. It just wasn't up to the level required. And again, not from the Cavalry's perspective, they only did what they had to do, but from the Adelaide bite it was just ho-hum, and we're seeing a much more lively affair right here at the moment on a beautiful Sunday afternoon here in Adelaide on our Australia Day long weekend. Again, we wish well to everyone out there tuning in, whether you be from Australia or from around the world. We'd love to hear from some of our overseas listeners if there are any at the moment.
Now, Motta just looking a bit frustrated there with a couple of the calls made by the home plate umpire as he's walked Welch there. You could see after that 4th ball was called, the plaintive expression on his face and the hands, the outstretched hands with the palms up. I would suggest the question was along the lines of what have I got to do to get a strike call here. It's drawn a visit to the mound from Michael Collins. He's gone out there for a chat, spoken with Chris Motter and said, mate, you've been powering out strikeouts. Just go back to what you're doing. It'll all come. Next pitch comes and is fouled away by Roger outside the third base line.
Yes, well, Chris, I said to myself before I started today to just leave the men in blue alone, and I know exactly where you're coming from, but inconsistency is something that is very difficult to cater for in baseball. We know if a gentleman is inside or outside and he's there all day, we will go for it. But when there's just a little bit of inconsistency, it makes it very difficult because, as we've said before, hitters know their zone to a millimetre, and occasionally there's a little bit too much whining, but in general, they're not far away, and he gets another breaking pitch that he just pulls around the corner foul.
All that said, though, I don't think Motter's got too much to complain about. I think the umpire has been fairly consistent. There's been a couple that I would have put a question mark over, but we're 200 feet away. He's 6 feet away. I haven't seen any. As the next pitch comes, it's low. Line was good, but low. I haven't seen any adverse reaction from Jacobs behind the dish, and that's for mine a much better indication. If the catcher starts to get narky, as we've seen in the past, that's when maybe you do start to ask questions. Foul tip from Roger. Remains at 2-2, the count.
That's a good call again, Chris, and no doubt that's why you're paid the big bucks and you're a professional commentator, mate, because you're very astute.
Hey, I tell you, I don't get paid an awful lot. I don't get paid very much. In fact, if you're looking for a rhyming equivalent, let's just use the word baseball hero, shall we? As the big swing comes from Roger, and once again, it's a strikeout for Motter after a visit to the mound. So Tubby Collins is obviously, he knows which buttons to press for Chris Motter, as we should probably take a break here at the end of the fourth with game locked at 2. And with that sound from the crowd, you should know who's coming into bat for the Canberra Cavalry as we go. And I think I said it was the end of the fourth. We're going into the top of the fourth. I got an inning ahead of myself earlier. So Marcus Connect into bat. Struck out previously. Long way up. A late decision from first base to think about it and then not go after. Oh, mate, oh no. Oh, yeah, no. So it's sort of one of those. They're the ones that you hate, the ones that you can't quite work out whether they're going to land in live ball territory or dead ball territory.
I always enjoyed, and especially the opposition bench there, when they're looking and sort of thinking, what, no one's going for this? No one saw that? Is there any movement at all in the camp? So the boys had a bit of a giggle on the bench there for the Cavs, just to say, come on, fellas.
Now, I'm not sure if BJ Rugby, who's just sent me a note on Twitter, is watching
Wow.
Connect's got a hold of this. That's got a long way, but I think it's just going to curve and tail off foul. It does, just onto the roof of the grandstand.
I'd like to see a nice high post down there, to be honest. It's a little bit difficult. Gee, a couple of those have been smoked down the left field line, but both been foul.
Umpire got himself in perfect position for it.
Thank you again, Chris.
But not much in that one. Connect waits, 2 strikes against him, swings, gets a little Texas leaguer, it'll fall short of right field, and Marcus Connect connects, but only for 1 base, not for 4, but he'll take it, I'm sure. And makes it at the first baseline now. So, yeah, BJ Rugby sent me a note on Twitter. I'm not sure if he's listening or not. It's a bit hard to type and talk at the same time, but BJ, if you're listening, if Sydney can't get their game versus Brisbane today, well, that game has now been officially postponed to Wednesday. Just repeating that one. So, and I'd suggest, and I know that it happened a couple of years ago when the Brisbane Floods were on. Canberra and Brisbane had a series that was actually wound up not being played. It was scheduled for the weekend that the Floods were on. Those results are not going to make any difference on the ABL Finals series, so that series wound up not being played. And I'd suggest the league will do the same if it turns out to be a dead game, a dead rubber in terms of finals standings and so on. But again, that all hinges on what happens here and over in the West.
So Kim delivers. Fast ball outside, ball 2.
Yeah, so just repeating that for the outcome of the league, if Canberra wins this game and Perth wins their game this afternoon, then the result of that Sydney-Brisbane game becomes effectively immaterial in the league. It makes a small difference to win percentage, but it will make no difference to the final standings. Jacobs fouls it away. What do you call that? That's Cooper's Hill up there, isn't it?
Hill. That's our little Cooper's Hill. We've got our little beer stall up the top there, and a lot of the local players like to sort of wander up there and let their families run amok, and there's 1,000 or 2 foul balls that go there, and they can chase them around and have some fun. So it's a good little spot, and as I mentioned to you last night briefly when you were here, they've just centralised this diamond in the oval as that ball escapes Brabner and allows Connect to wander to second base. So that's brought that little Cooper's Hill into play a little bit more, giving them better vision, because prior when it was tucked into the left-hand corner they could hardly see. So yeah, look, it's a terrific diamond, and albeit not a purpose-built facility, it really rolls into a nice diamond, and the field's in reasonable shape as Jacobs picks a walk.
Yeah, that hill's nice. It's no snake gully like we have at Narrabundah, but it's nice. You don't have the brown snakes and the foxes and the occasional peacock wandering around down there, but kids going hunting for balls in the middle of summer in 5-foot grass. There's no OH&S issues there at all that we. Yeah, I tell you, you see the kids try to get under the fence to chase the balls that go through there, and the adults don't try and stop you. You wouldn't catch me going in there any time of the year, but particularly not during summer when the snakes are awake. Yes,
we have our own types of farm animals that locate on Cooper's Hill, and that ball is drilled by Sloan.
He'll get an RBI here as Connect scores. Jacobs has held at third, and Sloan gets a double. Canberra take the lead back as this game continues to swing and seesaw here. Canberra now leading 3-2. Top of the 4th. And Spurlow, I'll make this the last inning I'm up here with you. Not wanting to run away, but as we've discussed off air, it's not often that people like you and I get the chance to actually sit down and watch a game of baseball as opposed to talking about it. And there's a bunch of Cavalry fans down here who want to have a bit of a chinwag with me as well, because they don't get a chance to do that during the game either very much. So I will take my leave at the end of this inning. But mate, in advance, in case I forget, thank you very much for having me, and a big thank you to the Bite for their hospitality this weekend. I have really enjoyed myself here this weekend.
Well, it's great to see, Chris, and great to hear, and thank you so much for taking the time out to join us. And I won't let anyone in on the fact that maybe the guy's needing a couple of Panadol and a nice lie down perhaps. Trying to fob it off as saying that he's very popular, and that ball is popped up by Matavvesi. No, that's not true. I know the Cav guys are all down there, guys and gals, all suited up and ready to go. They're making a real racket, and it's just wonderful to see. So, you get down with them, and I want to hear some massive connect calls from you as well.
You never know what you'll hear from me when I get down there. I don't get the chance to cut loose much. Josh, as a baseball supporter, that is, I cut loose after the game last night. Matavvesi is in the box with a 1-on-1 count. Really does seem to enjoy the designated hitter role, and I think I don't know what Michael Wells' plans are for next season, but I would suggest, as if not the oldest man in the ABL, pretty close to it, I would suggest that, if Canberra was to lift the Claxton Shield at the end of the season, Michael Wells might say, well, I've played 300 and some ABL games in the old ABL and the current ABL, and it's probably time to call it a day, and this bloke may well wind up taking the DH role in future. Swings, and he's absolutely filthy on himself. He swung at a high one the first time through, I think, to get himself struck out, and he swung at a high one there as well, so it really is the sucker pitch for him, and it's something he needs to eliminate, especially when he's got the 2-strike count against him.
But you also need to give a little bit of credit to the pitcher as well, that Kim knew that he had a little bit of a weakness going there with him at the minute, and he waited for the right time, and he powered another fastball across the letters, and Matavvesi swung straight through it. Just couldn't resist that pitch. And he starts Callaway up with a nearly ditto pitch, and up and in, but for a ball. So 1 out here in the top of the 4th, with the Cavalry leading it 3-2.
This guy would love nothing better than to just blow this game wide apart here, and he's got the potential to do it. Really, he really looks like he means business in the box this time. There's a bit of bouncing on the toes, and then gets set. Really looks like a coiled spring. Waiting for the one he didn't like that call, high and inside.
Yeah, it certainly doesn't help. You're a number 9 hitter. You're there to be very selective in a dual sort of role, and you just need strikes to be called strikes and balls to be called balls. And he got a bit of a tough one there, and he has a 2-1 count with 1 out.
I think that might be a 3-1 count.
I'm sorry.
I think that
the scoreboard's taking a little while to catch up.
Yeah, got 3 and 1.
Thank you, Johnny. Al.
No, we got a dead light.
And he hits a little chopper that somehow finds its way through the infield.
Had eyes, and that's about all it had. It was a pretty ordinary hit.
Yes, but it scores a run. It goes down in the book as an RBI single to Callaway. And, again, all things count in this game. And he will be at first base thinking, I really didn't hit that one too well. But you know what? I picked myself up an RBI and I got a base hit, so I'm pretty happy. And I got a free base in front of me as Wally Marks comes out to Sonji just to do some conversation with him. And we've always said it'd be very interesting with the Koreans out there that don't really understand a great deal of English. What on earth Wal, who's an interesting translator at the best of times, would possibly be saying to get a nod of the head and some appreciation.
We had with one of our Japanese pitchers early in the season, the conference was starting on the mound. You had, I think Jack Murphy was catching that game. Murphy's out there. There's one of the Japanese pitchers on the mound. Michael Collins is out there. The conversation starts, and the pitcher's just looking blank because the translator was off up the third baseline in the bullpen talking to the other Japanese pitcher. Yeah, no idea what was going on. Suddenly, so the translator runs in, gets a huge round of applause.
What out to the mound? No wonder you asked how many people with possible double play. But Josh Cakebread as a second baseman. I tell my little youngsters, you've got to use your feet and not just sit in your footholds and hope you get a good bounce. And he just got a little awkward bounce. But at least he had the presence to hang tough and flip one to second base for a force out. But that scores another run. And that double play would have snuffed that one out, but not to be. So Cavalry sneak another one on the board and take a 3-run lead here in top of the 4th with 2 out.
So Ryan Stovall, man who has been in wicked form of late with the bat, takes the first pitch and just drills it past the outstretched glove of Welch at third base. Callaway, the runner charges around, slides underneath and beats the throw, beats the tag, does Hightower.
I'm just looking again, and I'm all over this poor kid at shortstop at the moment, but Lodgie's come up with an excellent throw to third base, and it's been cut off 8 metres in front of third.
Yeah, that should have just been let go.
Why, I would ask, and it just shows that Jeremy is just not thinking straight at the moment. And
well, a lot going on. He had a couple of things go wrong for him last night. The side, and I know they're professional baseballers, but the side is now officially out of playoff contention. So when things start to go wrong and you get like this, it can just have that little mental effect of not, that takes things away. Now this is interesting. They're intentionally walking Bashini.
Yeah, well, it goes even to show that they're not even prepared to go fine with the guy. That's how red hot he is. They'll probably throw a pitch that's a little out or something like that, and he'll dispatch that one. So, as soft as it may sound,
they're not far outside the zone. If I was Bashini at this point, if the next one's close, I'd just have a crack just for the fun of it and say, well, yeah. No, they make well and truly sure of it with one that would have needed not just a second strike zone, but a third strike zone on that one. I think that they realised the third pitch was just a little too close for comfort.
Well,
They've now this is what the Sydney Blue Sox did last week in the 12th inning of a really dramatic final game in the series, where they walked a batter who now which batter it was. They walked Jack Murphy, and again they walked to bring Jack Murphy to the plate to load the bases in the bottom of the 12th, and it does bring the force into play at every base. So. There is an upside to it in that regard, but I don't know. I think it is a very, very low percentage play when you're up against a hot hitting side.
Yes, well, it'd be difficult to comment on that one without the statistics. It'd be very interesting because I'm right with you. I mean, we know of all of the advantages that it brings of the easy outs and all base open and blah blah blah, but we're bringing Barnes to the plate, who's equally as powerful and dangerous, and it's always been an interesting play, and perhaps pitchers of that ilk, really need to be able to pitch around the guy anyway, and intentionally walk him, but at least do it in a little more subtle way.
And even worse, they've intentionally walked him, and then they've gone for the pitching change. And you've walked a guy who's batting 355. To bring a guy who's batting 342 to the plate. Okay, the change in pitcher does mean it's a little different for Barnes to face here. He's got to factor that in, that it's not quite there. But Barnes is a big hitter. 6 home runs for the season, 16 doubles, and if he gets a double here, that's 2, possibly 3 runs scored on it.
And look, I think it's all fair and well in Major League Baseball. We're bringing out Riviera or bringing out an amazing middleman or something like that. But when you go into a bit of a frail bullpen and you're going to leave them loaded 2 out with Barnes at the plate. Anyway, for all of our puff and wind, we'll sit back and we'll actually see what transpires here. So.
We're not paid to coach the team, so we just get to sit here and second guess. It's the best part of the job. High and inside the first pitch for Barnes. We go from high and inside to low and outside. Ball 2. I think there's actually a blown light on the scoreboard over there on the ball counter. It gets to 2 and then... So that's ball 3. And the ball 3 light obstinately refuses to illuminate there. Fortunately, we've got the big screen with about 18 different views on it. And that shows us a little more clearly here. Now, I couldn't see much different between that and the first pitch, which was high and inside, was called a ball, and that one was called a strike. So I'm a little confused by that call. So it's Canberra loaded bases, 2 out. In the 4th, they lead 5-2. Barnes swings, gets what will be an easy single, and there's no great urgency around the bases there for Canberra. Just to the 3 runners all jog 90 feet, 1 scores, everyone else advances, and the situation remains basically the same. Loaded bases, 2 out, but now it's a 4-run ball game. And get ready for the chant for the crowd, because it's Marcus Canet coming into bat. There it is. It's a great way to empty your lungs on a Sunday. Canet takes the first pitch. It's just down the middle of the pipe, and easy strike 1.
Good breaking pitch there from Reed Brown. Gets Canet swinging through it. 0-2 count, 2 out. Cavalry sliding away. 6-2 leaders. Top of the 4th, Dick. He delivers again. And it's outside. A waste pitch for ball 1.
So they've really worn a groove in front of the mat on top of the mound. It's a very deep foothold there now. As Canet swings and misses. Strike 3, side away. But Canberra, having added 4 runs there, now holding a 6-run-2 lead in the middle of the 4th. And Spurlo, at this point, I'm going to go for a wander and go and sit back. Not that I haven't enjoyed myself here, but I'm going to go and enjoy myself in a different way for the remainder of the game this afternoon. Thank you very much for having me on board, and for the Adelaide Bite for the hospitality. I've had a terrific time in here in Adelaide, and I look forward to coming back to Norwood in future.
Well, Chris, it's been an absolute pleasure, and for all your Cavalry fans, to have your main man on board with us and give you a little bit more insight and to hear his dulcet tones. It's been an absolute pleasure. So all the best, and I really wish the Cavalry, a great run. And enjoy things. Get down with the group and
absolutely
get on your Connect calls, old fella.
And yeah, with a bit of luck, the ABC will be broadcasting both the preliminary series and the championship series. Certainly the championship series will be on digital radio. We're hoping to be able to do the preliminary series next week as well, on digital radio and on the ABC website. So fingers crossed we'll be able to bring all that to you as well, and I'll be there in the thick of it next week.
Good stuff, Chris. Thanks again, mate.
Thank you, Spurlo, and thank you to the team.
After 75 years, men and women alike still holler his name. Stranded with a dead battery or need a jump? Out of fuel? Got a flat or need a tow? Just holler for Marshall's Roadside Rescue Service. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, Marshall will rescue you and have you back on the road at surprisingly little cost. No annual membership or roadside joining fees required. So for batteries and breakdowns, just holler for a Marshall. Call 1300 Marshall.
So as I say goodbye to Chris, I may be joined by Jim Manning to give me a little bit of a hand in this finale as we head towards the end of the Bites ABL season. And here's a 1-1 count. Chris Motter still rolling along. Cam gets one up and out, but he fouls. Sure the Cavalry fans would have enjoyed hearing Chris on the broadcast and on the telecast, and giving you a little bit more insight as Cam strikes out, looking. What an absolute pleasure it's been to bring this to you, and certainly from my perspective to meet people like Chris and the people we've met along the way, and all of you great people out there sending us emails and just, giving us a real little pep up to make sure that we're doing an okay job and It really means a lot to us, so thanks to everyone out there. As we roll into the bottom of the 4th dig here. As Kate Brett gets that one around the corner. Bashini. It's a little bad hop and couldn't quite control it. So Cakebury gets on via an error at shortstop by Bashini, maybe a little bit harsh, but it may have been called that way. As I welcome Jim Manning to the microphone here to get me through to the end of this day, Jim, and welcome.
Thanks, Bello. It's a bit of a sad state of affairs to sit in here after the great CJ Coleman leaves us, but with a 6-2 down at the bottom of the 4th.
The Bite need to respond, and they've been okay, but just not capitalising perhaps on not cashing in. Just picking up a 1 in the 1st and a run in the 3rd when they had opportunities to do a lot better. And that's been the difference. Cavalry scored 2 in the 3rd, 4 in the 4th. And that all adds up to a 6-2 lead currently, a 4-run lead for the Canberra Cavalry. As the Bite now have runners on 1st and 2nd.
Jackson Brown taking the walk to first on ball 4. Brings to the plate, back at the top of the lineup, Jeremy Cresswell.
He takes a fastball down the middle for strike 1. Motta delivers again and gets a fastball up and in for a ball. Just a terrific day, our last home game. We've got all of the Glenelg boys here who are on a bye this weekend, celebrating Tom Watts's, or a Bucks party for Tommy Watts. Just a terrific bloke from the Glenelg Baseball Club, been around a long, long time. He got a fantastic turnout from his buddies who have all rolled up, sitting in the shark tank, sinking a few beers and having a great day.
And Spurlo, you're trapped here behind the commentary desk.
Yeah, I'm looking over there and thinking how enjoyable it would be, but hey, we still have got a great seat up here, Jim.
Best seat in the house.
You betcha, and it's as Creswell flies that ball foul. And as has been the case with our Sunday afternoon games, the scheduling has been done primarily to get the opposing team home at a decent hour. And it doesn't always obviously help with the entire South Australian competition on today, as Creswell gets a little flare. And it's taken at centre field by Stovall, so no change here. Runners on 1st and 2nd now with 1 out.
With our friends in Queensland and New South
2
Wales.
out, I'm sorry.
With our friends in Queensland and New South Wales at the moment, the way the weather is, the Canberra boys mightn't get home tonight after all, because they're predicting the weather coming down the coast is going to get more and more ugly as the day goes on. In fact, I was reading there's a tornado has hit Mooloolaba, so we wish them all that they're safe, well and happy up there.
Yeah, well, I know one thing for sure, Jim. You wouldn't get me on a plane going back to Canberra to save yourself, so I'd walk in preference if it took me 2 weeks.
You're one of those.
Well, I'm not really one of those, but I don't particularly like as Ben Lodge bangs one up the middle. They wave Kate Brett home. Brebner Rush holds at second base. Benny Lodge picks up a base hit, an RBI single to continue his excellent year. His first real full season in the ABL as a young man, a true utility, doing a terrific job.
And I'm pleased to see that the bite, despite this to some degree for them is a bit of a dead rubber, that they are battling it out. And as they have done all season, we've seen the score seesaw. Quincy Lattimore at the plate, runners on first and second, so it's a big chance here with the tying run now at the plate for the Adelaide Bite to climb back into this game yet again.
So Motta gets one down low to Lattimore. He gets one up and in, he check swings. He rocketed one foul down the third baseline. Got a good piece of the ball. Just has to get the timing just a little bit more correct and fly one long and deep, but he's popped it. Catcher Jacobs was heading in the right direction but was stopped by the net, so it went foul anyway. So with the runners on first and second, and a 2-2 count, oof, he takes and just misses downstairs, and it fills the count with 2 out.
A brave take, I fear.
Oh. Hammers one right into the pen of the Bite and just very casually accepted with bare hands there, I think, by the big Dushan Ruzic. Sitting proud and bold there as head of the pen. We've spoken a few times about Dushan and how his game has lifted so much, Jim, after Christmas's runners take off, but Lattimore picks a walk. So that loads the bases with 2 outs and brings the magnificent man in G-Man Choi to the plate.
Yes, Dushan certainly seems to have found it and put it all back together in the last part of the season, and great game here on Thursday night. The first time he's actually started in the first game for the win. Dushan getting well and truly primed up, I think, to go away to Taipei later in March as part of the Australian bullpen in the World Baseball Classic. Choi swings the strike. No, he must have held off it. I was looking the other way. Silly me.
There's a big swing at that and hits it foul straight back over our heads. Always a reasonable indication that bat head was in the right spot and timing was pretty good. And in this magnificent game with the toughest skill in the world of hitting a round ball with a round bat, Choi sets himself up again and Motta delivers outside for ball 2. So 2-1 count with 2 out. Loaded bases, and we need a hit. Choi, he just comes off of that one and lifts it long, foul.
Out of the ground?
Out of the ground along the left field line. Another ball for the neighbours.
We love our neighbours here at Norwood. We're so kind, we let them have a few baseballs every season. So Motta
Gets one outside again. Looking like he's not prepared to come anywhere near middle in to Choi.
The count is full.
So a big pitch here for Motta as he delivers and gets it up and out. He walks a run. And Stephen Welsh with a bit of a slow night for him with an infield pop fly and a walk. Gets a chance with loaded bases and 2 out to stand tall and put his team ahead, or at least draw this ball game. Michael Collins slowly cruises to the mound, and I'd say that would be it for Chris Motta, as we have Steve Kent warming up in the pen, and I'd say that Motta's day will be over as they have a good powwow. Everyone's involved in it this time. There's a nice little 7-man convo going on.
I think they're definitely going through the world record of how many people can you get on one mound.
Well, that would have been an awesome thing to when Chris said about having the translator out there as well. What an amazing turn of events. Look, we'll leave you with that one. We'll just have a short break whilst Kent does his preparatory, and we'll see you back here very soon.
So Kent, having finished his warm-up, Stephen Welsh comes to the plate for the Adelaide bite. Takes the ball inside. The bases are loaded here at Norwood Oval. Ball 2 was one on the outside and dug out of the dirt by Adam Jacobs.
Been a very solid contributor again for this bullpen. ERAing at 2.65. Only 20 hits off of him. No doubt just a short man. Doesn't go long distance. Only 5 earned runs off of him. Only a couple of home runs. A couple of walks. His whip is good. 1.24. Very good. 3 holds. Done a good job. And that's banged down the first baseline. And this is trouble for the Cavalry. There's plenty of runners going everywhere. Score 1. Score 2. With that stand-up double to Steph Welsh. And that ties the ball game here. Great stuff. Have a 6-all ball game. Doesn't mean much to the Bite. Means a lot to Canberra. But it means a whole lot to us sitting up here and the fans that have supported this team all season, that they finish with a little bit of a bang and make us all go home with their smile on our face, win, lose or draw.
Adelaide Bite fans certainly enjoying that, and whilst it's not the largest crowd today on a Sunday afternoon, they're certainly enjoying the fact that we now have a tied ball game. Angus Roger.
Gets one down low for ball 1. So a 2-out rally here for the Bite. Whipping on 4 runs to tie this game up at 6 apiece. And gets one. Just good location from Kent, just running it in on the hands, and he looked like a pitch he could do some damage to, but when it got right to the plate, just a little bit of jam action in there and he fouls it off. So Angus with a walk and a strikeout tonight. Looks to see if he can do a little bit more, and he gets a breaking pitch in the dirt and well handled by Jacobs. So 2-1 count. This middle reliever, Steve Kent, delivers. Gets one outside for 3-1 count. Commonly known for all your kids out there as a hitter's count. 3-1, you nearly get a free pass here. If it's anywhere around the mark, you're well entitled to be swinging out of your shoes. As he prepares to deliver. And Roger pops it. Goes high and long and goes into dead ball territory. It's very nicely. Sloaney collects it and chucks it to the youngster there who was desperate for it. It's a nice bit of play there by first baseman Sloan. So 2-2 count with 2 out.
Oh no, it's full count.
Sorry, full count. That's that busted light again.
That busted light.
Better look at our screen. Thank you, Johnny, showing me again. Yes, I'm a very slow learner. Again, he gets a ditto pitch that he fouls. So Kent just feeding him outside at the moment. Knows he's got a hitter that's hit 8 bombs. Been a powerhouse against the Cavalry, and with a free base, he ain't coming anywhere near the middle of the plate. He can afford to walk him. He gets it outside and does exactly that.
So the bases are loaded. First baseman and sometime designated hitter for the Adelaide Bite, Adam Cam, coming to the plate. There's 2 away, so the tussle is well and truly on here between the Cavalry and the Adelaide Bite.
Cam, who joined the team late Only had 50 odd at bats, picked up 12 hits, a lot of them being infield hits. He's a bit of an odd one as a hitter, and I don't mean that meanly, just trying to work out statistics with him is a little bit difficult. And he popped one out to centre field at his last at bat. He's had a couple of opportunities with runners, and we really need him to deliver. It's Kent. Gets one down the middle. Strike one for a 1-1 count. Just a feeble chopper to first base, which is easily taken by Sloan. Retires Cam, retires the bite, but they bang on 4 and draw this game at 6 apiece. We complete 4 digs, we'll be back top 5 right around the corner.
So we're back here at Norwood Oval. Leading off for the Canberra Cavalry is the catcher, Adam Jacobs. And fouls the first one away. The pack of seagulls on the hill at Cooper's Hill is chasing it around out there. Foul ball into deep right field. Angus Roger not able to get it as it gets tangled up in the net. We have a net here at Norwood Oval, which it's our short field is our right field here. So we have our version of the big green monster in the form of a net.
Commonly known as the shark net. We've had a few people tangled up in it over the journey. Remember Brycey took your catch out there one year and toppled over it. He was cradled in it. It was just classic. Classic. So it's a very short porch out there and they needed to do something. So they put up the net, and if you're going to get it over, as there's a drop third strike, but Brebner Russ couldn't quite make the throw. In fact, it's Troy Wienert, who replaces Brebner Russ halfway through.
So Wienert dragging Cam off the plate as well as not being able to take it cleanly. Jacobs safely aboard. First baseman Aaron Sloane.
Aaron Sloane is at about 80 odd at bats. Picked himself up, you know, getting close to 20 hits for the year, hitting in the mid 200s. Very valuable. Playing good first base. Another little piece of this Cavalry puzzle.
Reed Brown making the move to first base. Just making sure Jacobs doesn't get too far down that line.
Brown gets that pitch inside for a called strike for an 0-2 count on Sloane.
Sloane clearly a bit of a puller of the ball. He fly out to 7 at his first at bat and safe hit in his second appearance. Pulls that one down the left field line into the Adelaide bullpen.
So nice to see Coach Manager Harris there, just swanning on a nice little plastic chair, just out in the sun, getting a suntan. He does like to look after himself, Tony. And that ball was a possible double play. 6-4, and a spin and a twist and a throw. Cakered gets cleaned up at second base, but the boys, the runner in Jacobs and Cakered, give themselves a bit of a pat and say, no sweat. It was a good slide, cleats down, doing his job to try to disrupt things, and Cakered hanging tough and doing the job. Great to see appreciation between good sportsmen that looking after each other in the heat of the battle, which is always, in my opinion, a pleasure to watch. He tries to roll a curveball into Matavvesi for ball one. Big hack by Matavvesi, the big unit. Keg on legs. He's a monster. If he hit one, I'm sure it'd stay hit. And there's a blast to left field. Long and gone.
Very prophetic of you, Spurlo.
Well, thank you very much. But again, a little bit of a fluke. He nearly got one 8 inches down from his hands, and with the strength and power, just drove it over the left field fence and puts his team a run ahead. So 7-6, top 5 on a Matavvesi solo bomb.
Right fielder Antonio Callaway drives one straight up the middle to Quincy Lattimore in centre field.
He picks himself up a single. Second for the night. Hit a little shocker with eyes that got through the field for a base hit to left field, and as I said, when I look down and I see single 7, it doesn't really matter what sort of shot it was. It was a base hit. And gets a second one up the middle. Good little piece of hitting, staying back and driving it back up the middle.
Back at the top of the lineup with Cody Hightower. He's having a little discussion there as to the merits of that call.
I might even call it perhaps a large discussion, Jim. Just shaking his head saying, you've got to be kidding. That ball was down. Did look a little down from here, but we know our men in behind the dish have got a better seat in the house than us, Jim.
Absolutely.
So Cody Hightower preparing to accept a pitch from Brown, and he swings through it. Strike 2. There's a breaking pitch. Hightower flies it to right field. Roger takes the catch. And that's all for the Cavalry in top 5. But courtesy of a Matavvesi blast, they grab a run and take it the lead by that run. We'll have a short break. We'll see you in a moment.
Hi, I'm Kelly and this is Mark, and we are now Energy Smart.
We sure are.
We've recently updated our old ducted air conditioner with a duct air energy smart system.
And that meant we didn't have to replace our old air conditioning unit.
And now it works like a dream. It's super quiet and it saves us a ton of money.
An Energy Smart delivery system can save up to 45% on running costs and make your system perform the way you want.
And now I can use my air conditioner whenever I want.
Now that's Energy Smart.
So we're back here at Norwood Oval for the bottom of the 5th inning, and leading off for the Adelaide Bite is second baseman Josh Cakebread. One down the middle for strike 1. Shortstop Cody Hightower making a lot of ground for a ball that landed well in dead ground actually.
Yeah, well, he's 20 metres away from the third baseman. He didn't move, and he has flown over there. Mind having a little 2 bob each way on him in a 50-metre sprint. Oh, Cody Hightower. It's Kent. A little bit of a same sort of thing, a little cutter from Kent, and Cakebread fouls it in similar direction. And he does the same, just with his weight and balance, just not quite right, just not staying on the ball, just lifting off it a little bit. Joshy Cakebread.
Certainly some leg speed in Cody Hightower as he makes a lot of ground on Jeremy Barnes as they went after that one again. Two strikes on Cakebread.
Just working that ball in on the hands of Cakebread in his effort to get those hips through and get those hands at the ball. He's just coming off the pitch, but still they're beautifully located by Ken. He's giving nothing to extend at except for that one, but he wastes that pitch outside when he had an 0-2 count. Make it 1-2. And he delivers again and gets one in. There's a broken bat. Sloaney says, I got this one under control. Picks it up and runs over and fends his pitcher off and says, I've got it. And he puts him out.
So 1 away for the Adelaide Bite. Canberra leading in the bottom of the 5th innings, 7 runs to 6. Brings to the plate the replacement catcher.
And Troy Wienert.
That's the man.
As Kent delivers outside, ball 1.
Well, the lower order of the Adelaide lineup seems to be fairly determined that they're going to go after Mr. Kent.
Excellent pitch from Kent. Slid inside on the right-hander. Ended up jamming him and realising that I can't get the barrel of the bat on that one. So a perfectly executed pitch by Kent, and he delivers again. And this time outside. So a nice little rotation of pitches there by Kent. In, out, in, out. And he got his man Wienert and strikes him out.
So 2 away. Brings us back around to the top of the Adelaide lineup with Jeremy Creswell coming to the plate.
Cressy gets a good piece of that. It's superbly taken by Stovall. He just read it off the bat, got on his bike, and with his fingers pointed down, he took a beautiful catch at centre field to retire Creswell. And he's probably thinking to himself, I can't do a thing right at the minute. But hang in there, Crezza, there's a little way to go. We'll have a short break. We'll see you in a moment.
We're back here at Norwood Oval. There's been a change of pitcher while we've been away, and Reed Brown leaves the game, and now pitching is Damien Segan for the Adelaide Bite. It's his first appearance for the side this year.
We'd love to throw it out to our superb listeners who've got more knowledge than us, just to tell us something about Damien. Where on earth did they find this gentleman from in the last game? But I was watching him in the pen and he was pretty handy. Beautifully built, not unlike Andrew Kittredge. Nice strong lad, not overly tall, but strongly built. Gets a nice pitch down.
And quickly going ahead with 2 strikes on Ryan Stavell.
So keep us alive, folks. We need your help. Give us a little G up. Live baseball at the 10thinnings.com.au for your emails. This beautiful Sunday afternoon on our Australia Day long weekend. What a pleasure it is to be alive. Sun shining. Ball game on. Number 40 in the batter's box for the Cavalry, Adam Bashini. And what a star he is. Doing everything we can to get you re-signed, Adam. And remember us. Only a small percentage perhaps, 1 or 2%. Doesn't sound much. And you sign your new $1 million contract, just send it our way. The 10th innings.
Segan, a 23-year-old. A New Jersey boy, signed by the Phillies in 2007.
Now with Bashini on first. Third baseman, Jeremy Bond.
That's about all I can find out about him right now.
Well, that was pretty good, Jim. You know, this wonderful thing we called the internet. Nothing is private.
I'm not sure what has brought him to South Australia so late in the piece. I wasn't aware that he's pitching for any of the club sides here. But
so hospitality aplenty here at Norwood Oval today for the boys at the 10th inning. We've been got the old Kranskis and chips and dim sims. So we'll all, and that ball is crushed by Barnes. That's a 2-run bomb. And away go the Cavalry once again. Take a 3-run lead via a 2-run bomb to Barnes. That's easy for you to say. As he scores Bashini with a 2-run blast over left field. And the Cavalry roll on. Followed up by Connect, who connects down the right field line but just goes foul as he stumbled out of the batter's box, tripped over himself, has a bit of a laugh, sporting a little mustachio by the looks of things. Maybe not. So Segan, and that ball is smoked. Maybe not as well as I thought. Must have just got it off the end of the bat. And he hits a line drive to left field, but caught.
which will bring to the plate the catcher, Adam Jacobs.
Jacobs with the ground out to second base and a walk. And a drop third strike and a wild throw from the catcher. He got on. He strides to the plate and would have been pretty hard to dislodge Murphy from behind the dish. But I'm sure just giving the big man a rest. So Jacobs has jumped behind the dish, doing a superb job. Segan gets a nice pitch inside. A 1-1 count. So every time the Adelaide Bite draw close, Cavalry charge away, and there's a nice change piece inside for a strike, and catcher just having a little bit of trouble getting the ball back to the pitcher correctly. Still is a nervy time for all real youngsters, and Troy's a youngster coming into this grade. And there's a nice pitch again from Segan, and Welsh goes across, makes a first-class play. Cut right in front of the shortstop, who's a quick mover in Creswell. Gathered, redirected his feet and made a quick throw for a first-class out, and that retires a Cavalry. But again, a big 2-run blast by Barnes, scores a couple, and they take a 3-run lead on a 9-6 score. We'll be back for bottom 6 in a moment.
After 75 years, men and women alike still holler his name. Stranded with a dead battery or need a jump? Out of fuel. Got a flat or need a tow? Just holler for Marshall's Roadside Rescue Service. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, Marshall will rescue you and have you back on the road at surprisingly little cost. No annual membership or roadside joining fees required. So for batteries and breakdowns, just holler for a Marshall. Call 1300 Marshall.
So Ben Lodge at the plate for the Adelaide Bite, and we've had a change of pitcher for the Cavalry. Kyle Perkins is now pitching for Canberra. I'm sure Michael Collins is keen to stretch out his bullpen in this last game as they head on the path to the playoff series. One ball, 2 strikes. Ben Lodge with the big swing for the K2. 1 away. Now batting is centre fielder Quincy Lattimore. Ball getting away from the bullpen there. The timeout. Lattimore hits one high, wide and handsome. It's out in dead ground, so no catch.
Chris Coleman just came up and showed us a little text he'd got from Todd Van Stensel, the Blue Sox ace, who's listening in. So, g'day Todd. If you'd like to email us direct here on any given reason, as that ball's smacked by Lattimore straight away centre field, but Stovall takes an easy catch. So g'day to all of you and the Blue Sox boys, and all the best in your playoffs. You've been a very, very good side, and we enjoyed hosting you here. Great bunch of guys, and as are all the teams in the playoffs. High quality units, and at the end of the day, the best team will win. So all the best. There's G-Man Choi, who you would have tussled against a few times. Takes a strike inside for a 1-1 count. 2 out in the bottom of the 6th, the bite trailing by 3. And that pitch is up and out from Perkins. 2-1.
I'd like to think that the Major League owners who are basically underwriting this competition in Australia are pretty happy with their third season as a viable winter solution, as Choi fouls one away down the right field line. And to see the result so tied up at the end of the season hails well for good crowds in the coming years in this competition in Australia.
Yeah, it's been a terrific competition this season. Nothing much between the 6 sides. They've all had to battle hard, and it really has come down to perhaps the franchises that have been able to retain their players and not have much player movement, have some stability. And that ball's torn by Choi down the right field line. Got a little bit of a dodgy hammy, but he might test it out. And he's a bit of a fooler, old G-Man. He's been complaining of a bit of a dodgy hammy and had the chance for a double, and there was no thoughts at all. He legged it. So I'm sure the management will be looking and thinking, oh, where's that dodgy hammy now, G-Man?
So Stephen Welsh takes the plate, takes the first ball high over the plate.
So Welsh with a double at his last at-bat to score a couple of runs. Continues on his fine season. That ball eludes catcher Jacobs. Choi wanders to third base. So batting it around the 250 mark, Welsh, but slugging well in the 400s. And he's got up and under that one and driven it hard, long and high, but foul ball. So 2 out here in the bottom of the 6th, the Cavalry leading by 3. It's Perkins up and out fills the count. Takes the ball back and rolls off the mound. Gives a little bit of a tickle. And heads back up the hill. And from the set delivers. And he gets one outside for ball 4. So he walks Welsh. Brings Roger to the plate. Again with a scoring opportunity. And another little powwow. Tubby Collins has been very active today. A lot of chats with his pitchers during the duration. Also had a little chat with umpire Bell there at one stage and had a little remonstration over a call. It's good to see a coach so active and so effervescent. No doubt why his team's rolling along, Jim. He was a wonderful baseball player and he's really brought this Cavalry group together and doing a fine job.
Michael has been one of Australia's greatest in his time, and looking at continuing that reputation on the management side of the game.
Number 35, Angus.
So Angus Roger. He's had a pretty good season all up, really. And rips one foul out into Wood Street.
Yeah, I mean, even for these younger type of guys to go through a full season and have 140 odd at-bats. Oh, it sounds a bit paltry in comparison to the old major leaguers who venture into the 400s, and he's popped that one up to centre right field. Callaway right back to the fence. And there's another classic catch and straight through the panel, but he would have won a massive prize if he had a punch through our old silhouette out there, but he just couldn't quite get it right. But what he did get right was the catch, and it was an awesome catch. And I'm sure Pete's honing in on that. And there might be another CSI investigation taking place. But we'll leave you with that. As Callaway pummeled through the panel. We'll have a short break. Be back. Top 7 real soon. So welcome back everyone, as our wonderful producer and inventor of this amazing stream, Peter Wyatt, is just highlighting on the silhouette out there at centre right field, and I'm asking Todd Van Stencil whether he knows whose silhouette that might be. I'm sure he'd be able to give us that answer. He was one of his buddies, and an unbelievable catch here at Norwood Oval. It's not exactly in the same position, but I'm sure he'd be able to answer that question. Live baseball at the 10thinnings.com.au. Todd, come on old boy, get on. Give us a hoy as one of our greats from South Australia and Australia in Andrew Scott. Nice to hear from you, and thanking us as that ball is tagged along the left field line, but nicely taken there by Ben Lodge.
We've had a change of pitcher for the Adelaide Bites. The old man himself, Darren Fidge, is out there on the mound. So Spurlo, will this be his last season? Will he finally hang up the cleats?
Well, there's a thing called Valvoline, I reckon he might keep rolling, whether it be for the Adelaide Bite, but he will certainly still be going for the Goodwood Indians. He's a specimen, and he's trying to make some little adjustments with his pitching for a bit of, just to reinvent himself a little bit, dropping that arm slot down and trying to become a submariner, which is not easy.
There's one thing for certain, I don't think we'll not see him in an Adelaide Bite uniform next season. We mightn't see him on the diamond as such, but as part of the pitching, coaching and fitness staff, let alone just having him around the bench. He's a great team man.
Well, there's a scoop for you folks. Jimmy's let one out the bag that we might have a new pitching coach or assistant pitching coach.
That's assuming he does actually stand out.
That's correct. Still might be a little duty for him. And there's a nice little breaking pitch from him that he gets rid of Matavvesi. And it's been chalk or cheese for Matavvesi. It's 3 strikeouts, but a 2-run bomb over left field. So all in all, who cares how many strikeouts you get when you've popped one over the fence for a 2-run bomb for your team to put them ahead by the little that they are.
So the new home run fence silhouette. Antonio Callaway driving one up to shortstop for the 6-3 out to finish the innings for the Canberra Cavalry. But of course, still lead 9 runs to 6 as we can go towards the bottom of the 7th inning.
So, Andrew Scott, you're a legend, and we thank you very much, and we'll see you next season, and enjoy this 7th inning stretch brought to you by Fielder's Choice. This 7th inning stretch is brought to you by Fielder's Choice, official baseball store of Australian baseball. Visit www.fielders.net for all of your baseball, softball and T-ball equipment needs.
So Adam Cam comes to the plate for the Adelaide Bite as we lead off in the bottom of the 7th innings here at Norwood Oval. Canberra leading 9 runs, Adelaide Bite 6.
And that's Mr. White out there making sure the fence is secure.
Robin Anderson, you are one astute woman, let me tell you. Because you're dead right. Mitch Denning was that wonderful silhouette that we got. We've seen some incredible catches taken at Norwood Oval this year. Anaki took a couple of blinders as Choi tears that one round the corner. Little routine 4-3. Sorry, that was Cam. He drags his body back to the bench. It's been like a revolving door for the Adelaide Bite this year. We've seen some inclusions and exclusions every week. So if a man called Tony Harris as a manager is meant to look for some balance and stability, it's been a really difficult job for him.
It's certainly been a tough season from that perspective, apart from perhaps the core 9 and a couple of the starters. He hasn't really had a solid bench as Cakebread drives a safe hit into right field, picked up out there by Antonio Callaway. So Adelaide with 1 aboard. And Troy Wienert, the catcher, coming to the plate.
Now, the catcher, number 8, Troy Wienert.
So Perkins delivers and gets an outside fastball that Wienert had a good swing at and foul tipped it to the backstop. Be good to see the youngster, powerfully built little man, as he gets a pitch inside. Ball, Jacobs handles it well, and what you must be very complimentary towards the batteries of all of the better teams. Very, very efficient, and it just means so much in the whole act. There's no pass balls or what may be deemed as wild pitches because the catchers are skilled and determined, and he strikes Wienert out. And it really does just add to the whole spectacle when it just looks so clean and efficient. Perception is everything. Nine-tenths reality, they say.
So Creswell comes to the plate. He'd like to improve things for today and promptly hits one up the middle.
A superb play there. Cody Hightower taken right up the middle, flipped around and threw one in the dirt, but at full stretch, the man they call Sloan just picked one out of the dirt in a lovely scissor action. Took it and made the out. And that retires the Bite. So the Cavalry hold on to that 3-run lead. They lead at 9-6. We'll be back top 8 very soon.
So leading off for Canberra, Cody Hightower.
For about the 14th time this weekend, Cody Hightower as Kittredge Andrew replaces that gentleman that we dragged in off the bus stop to have a bit of a chuck at the previous dig. Damien Sigan.
No, we had Darren Fidge. Don't forget Darren.
Oh, sorry. Thank you, Jim. Getting a little bit...
You just dropped
a little
one
bit
there.
forgetful, yes. That's what...
It's been a long season,
that's
Phil.
what
It's been a long season.
what Alzheimer's does to you, Jim.
So Hightower with the hit out into right field. Angus Roger cleaning up out there, but Hightower safely aboard, which brings to the plate the centre fielder Ryan Stavell.
Kittredge was met with the base hit, and Stovall goes second pitch and goes long, hard and deep, and bang, and that's hit and upright by Lattimore. But courage by the man. Sensational. I tell you what, it's all right to hit the middle of a panel, to hit a complete upright, just bounced him back into the field of play. And that was a whole heap of courage, and he gives thumbs up to his fellow teammates. Nice to see Lodgy running out there just to make sure all was okay, and he said no sweat, we're all good to go.
In the meantime,
wow.
Hightower crosses the plate for one more run for Canberra. They are now 10 runs to Adelaide 6, and Quincy sucking in a couple of deep ones out there, I think. But as you say, hitting those uprights is all right to hit the middle of a panel that collapses, but into one of those uprights. I'm sure he'll know about that tomorrow morning.
He's sure, and it was an excellent attempt at the catch. And another what would have to be recorded as a double to Stovall. Just been fantastic. This little 1, 2, 3, 4 hit from the Cavalry. Hightower, Stovall, Bashini, Barnes. And that's taking nothing away from Connect and Jacobs and Sloan. And obviously Murph when he's behind the dish.
Of course.
There's a shot, and that was a toughie. Welshie had to try to get it on the half volley, and it just took a little high hop, and his lovely little soft glove, it just eluded it. So a base hit.
The scorers definitely went for the green pen there. It was far too hot really to handle. The fact that he even got there and got a glove anywhere near it, I think, was quite good. Quincy, of course, again, a testament to what we were talking about before, arrived in Adelaide on the 30th of December and toured straight away with us. And of course, while he's been here, a successful trade for him from Pittsburgh to the Cleveland Indians. He must be going home with some reasonable expectations of what the season may hold for him back at home in the States.
And there's a nice pitch by Kittredge. Little cutter. Strike one. Yeah, Quincy's got a fair few of the attributes required to be a good baseballer. With speed. He's a good defensive outfielder. Got some pop off his bat. Just needs to round it all up and definitely just progress a little bit further with hitting some off-speed pitching. It will make him just about the complete package.
And over and above all that, he's a nice bloke, and he gets on very well with all of us here in Adelaide, and we were very pleased to see him return to beautiful South Australia to help us out in the second half. And I won't lay it all at his feet, but he certainly has seen the Adelaide Bite have a better second half to the season than perhaps our first half was. He's certainly been part of that. Emergence of our side. Barnes swinging and missing. Two balls, two strikes.
There's a ground ball. Second base. 4-6 for a force out. Barnes hustles his way, and another run scores. Stovall crosses the plate on a little ground ball to second base. Again, did the right thing. Didn't try to overhit, and this is a man that's been hitting some long balls, but just clutched up, infield playing back. Knocked the ball to second base to score another run for the Cavalry.
The Cavalry fans noting Marcus Connect coming to the plate.
So Kittredge fires a fastball in for a ball. So 1-1 count, 1 out. 11-6. 5-run lead for the Cavalry. You know, a bugle went off and massive call of charge.
No, it wasn't. It was 4.
Was it 4, was it? They're being overtaken by the Cavalry supporters here. Only a little bunch, but they've banded together and enjoying each other's company and having a great weekend in Adelaide, watching their team claim their playoff spot. They've been vocal, they've been fair. They've had a great weekend here in Adelaide, and it's been a pleasure to host them. Nice breaking pitch, backdoor curveball by Kittredge. The tyres connect. Two out. So Michael Collins has managed his group very well this weekend. There's a beautiful swing from Jacobs on a middle out fastball that he just misses. And Loggins looks like he's coming in to finish this one off for the Cavalry, the monstrous man, 6'9". There's a little chopper, third base, and Welsh collects, fires at the cam, retires the Cavalry. They pop an extra couple on the board just for a little bit of insurance, and they'll take a 5-run lead into the bottom of the 8th. We'll have a short break. We'll see you back here very soon. How's this for a great offer? Ductair is offering a free upgrade to their university-tested and fully labelled Energy Smart system to all baseball fans. All you have to do is mention Tony Mazzini, Mutz, or even the 10th innings to your local Ductair dealer. Ductair's Energy Smart system is the only system that has been tested and proven by the Uni of SA to save you huge amounts off your power bill and increase the comfort in your home. All this from an SA-owned and operated carbon-neutral company. Now that's Energy Smart, and that's a great offer.
So we're back here at Norwood Oval, Canberra leading in the 8th inning, bottom of the 8th, 11 runs to 6, and Ben Lodge leading off for Adelaide.
I think I might start up a little club, Jim, and I want to be like Jack Murphy Club. Oh, and that ball was smoked to left field. Base hit there for Ben Lodge. With the outfield playing very defensively back in warning track. Pops one just in front of Connect at left field for a base hit for Lodgy, and I think he's picked up his third for the night. Third for the afternoon, shall I say. What do you think, Jim? I want to be like Jack Murphy Club. I think you'd be in it too, for sure.
I would be.
We need some action in our life, and by all reports, Jack's the man to be hanging around.
As I was saying in the break, I reckon if your umpire and Murph turned around and snarled at you, you'd be thinking twice the next time you called one wrong.
No, he's too pretty. He's too pretty to be nasty. What a unit. The breaking pitch inside that Lattimore takes. 2-1 count. Cavalry lead it by 5 in the bottom of the 8th here. It's this ABL season for the Adelaide Bite is drawing slowly to a close as Quincy gets one up and out that he has a little, yeah. And there's a pitch down. Full count. Gets a pitch a little in. Nice location from Loggins. He's replaced Perkins on the mound. Sorry, Cavalry crew. A little bit carried away with my Jack Murphy stories. But hey, evidently some girls in Canberra, they've got a few Jack Murphy stories too, as Lattimore strikes out.
Knowing full well he was sucked in by that one, swinging at something that was way, way too high. But as he walked back, a little disappointed in himself. Coming to the plate is G-Man Choi.
So G-Man, maybe one last time for us, hey? Let's see the quality that follows you. See if you can give us one. Great at bat, and that he takes a pitch downstairs for a strike.
His bat certainly has been very valuable for us, and he'll go down in the record books here in Adelaide as certainly one of our best imports, as he has a big swing at that one. Might have got a little touch on it according to the umpire. Foul tip. 2 strikes.
Choi stays out of the box, so no quick pitching from you, Mr. Loggins. He pitches one up. He wastes a pitch on an 0-2 count to make it 1-2. 1 out, runner on first for the Bite. As Loggins from the set delivers and gets one middle out. Choi smacks it to shortstop. Hightower feeds it to second for the force out. And in the process of trying to roll an improbable double play, Bashini lost the handle. Didn't matter. Got the job done. Got an out.
So, third baseman. Again, the last bat of this season, Stephen Welsh. Steph also a selection in the Australian squad to go to Taipei in March for the World Baseball Classic.
Foul tips that, and Jacobs with some quality receives it for a 1-2 count. 2 out, bottom 8. Cavalry mounted up and running with a 5-run lead here. A little bit of appreciation goes a long way, and for Anthony Overs to appreciate our weekend's work, we thank you a heap. As Welsh strikes out, and Cavalry roll into top 9 with a 5-run lead, looking to parcel up top spot. We'll have a short break. We'll see you very, very soon.
And we're back here at Norwood Oval. Walking to the plate is first baseman Aaron Sloan. Canberra leading 11 runs to 6 here in the top of the 9th.
Sloan pops one out to centre field. Betsy Lattimore takes a very casual little catch out there.
We've had another pitching change for the Adelaide Bite. Richard Olsen taking number 9 for the Adelaide Bite.
As we've mentioned before, that's what this competition is all about. Richard Olsen down the list on pitches for the Blue Sox. Sought some greater opportunities here for the Adelaide Bite, and he's been nothing short of spectacular. Done a fantastic job, and he should be very proud of himself. And wherever he ventures from here, this season has been very positive for him. I'd like to shout out to everyone out there, if you haven't already tuned into it, the ABL Buzz, which is a bit of a wrap of the ABL competition, put together by a couple of champions here from Adelaide in Brooke Kilpatrick and Jamie Cloden, and I'm sure there's a host of others, and I do apologise if I have missed many of you. But if you want to jump onto it, ablbuzz.com.au, and there's a bit of a factual / comical wrap of the ABL competition. And there's a great curveball by Olsen. Matavvesi, for the 4th time today, strikes out.
Josh has had a feast or famine today, hasn't he, really, with the big 2-run bomb that was quite appropriate at the time, and 4 Ks matching that.
Exactly. I suppose if you're going to go 1 for 5, let's go 1 for 5 with a 2-run shot, hey, Jimmy?
That's the one.
We only dream. That little pitch that Callaway was expecting to be called strike was called ball. And Olsen small little power pack. And again, to any kids out there that might be a little short in stature or not so strong in physique, doesn't matter. You get it right and you've got a nice little lively arm and you use your body correctly, you can be a great pitcher, just like Dickie Olsen.
Callaway fouling one back there. Count as 1 ball, 2 strikes.
So Olsen again, breaking pitch. Callaway strikes him out. He acknowledges it. Excellent pitch. Pitcher. Too good for me as he retires back to the bench. And the Cavalry 3 outs away from securing a series victory here against the Adelaide Bite. We'll be back. Only minutes more to listen to the old Spurlo. Hang in there. We'll be back soon.
After 75 years, men and women alike still holler his name. Stranded with a dead battery or need a jump? Out of fuel. Got a flat or need a tow? Just holler for Marshall's Roadside Rescue Service. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, Marshall will rescue you and have you back on the road at surprisingly little cost. No annual membership or roadside joining fees required. So for batteries and breakdowns, just holler for a Marshall. Call 1300 Marshall.
Well, we're back here at Norwood Oval in the bottom of the 9th innings. Adelaide with an awful lot to do if they want to make this one work for them. Angus Roger leading off. Canberra leading 11 runs to 6.
And we've got Glenn Long here tuning in from the Bandits Ustream team. You do a good job up there. I know you're still putting it all together and it's quite an effort. And I commend you. And we look forward to tuning in next year. You're all baseball washed out in Brisbane like a monsoon up here today. The Bandit socks washed out. So he's tuning in for his baseball fix, and it's a pleasure to have you, Glenn. One of our fellow compatriots. There's Angus Rozier facing the very, very large man in Loggins, who starts him up with a couple of balls. So a 2-0 count, working from the set. Loggins just nips away outside and finds a bit of black. Strike one. And again, we thank everyone that's been tuning in with us. Gives us a lot of pleasure. And we have a bit of fun along the way. We hope that our presentation is better than reasonable for you, that you can sit there and relax and enjoy and follow. And I've got to really tip my hat to the main man here in Peter Wyatt. As we said, we really have one camera, and we've just recently introduced a second, which will bring in plays at first, and But for just a solo cameraman to capture the game as well as he does, and always keeps you in the picture, he's our main man. So Pete Wyatt, you are a legend. And he's also the owner of a business called Page 6, which is a graphic design and website business. And if you're in the market, you'd be highly surprised that yesteryear you'd pay thousands and have to have a website manager to control your website, and now it could cost you a few hundred depending on what extent you want to go, and you're in full control of your own website. You can make changes along the way and manage it yourself. So if you're in the market or in the market for some signage, please, I plead with you, give him a go. Page 6 he is called.
So Adam Cam, he's got 2 balls, 1 strike on him.
And with a little inside-out sort of swing, he punched one long and strong to warning track left field, taken by Connect for an out.
1 away, and Josh Cakebread making his way to the plate. As a late in the season guest up here with you guys in the 10th innings, I'd have to say thank you very much for the opportunity. The young team that I've trained for ground announcing has taken over the chairs down there.
And there's Josh Cakebread with a shot to right field. Just so happy to see a young fella like Josh finish so strongly. He's had a terrific season. So while there is life, there is hope. Trailing by 5, bottom 9. Runners on first and second, 1 out. Troy Wienert gets his chance to pick up his first base hit in this competition as he accepts from Loggins and puts an excellent swing on that pitch. Tips it to the backstop. 1,000 people we would like to thank. More importantly, we'd really like to thank our great sponsors this year who have shown faith in us, provided some financial support. Marshall Batteries, Duct Air Conditioning, Colts Baseball Academy, MC Sportswear, Craig Watt, Shane Bennett, and the Adelaide Bite for simply giving us this opportunity to sit up the top here and have the best seat in the house. Thank you very much. And it's been a real pleasure and honour from Peter Wyatt and myself, Andrew Spurling. And we hope we can be back bigger and better next season. Still not done with just here. An 0-2 count on Wienert as Loggins. Nice pitch downstairs that Troy had to bend the knees and get down to fight off to stay alive. And I've got to say, for everyone around the country and the world, and I know that might sound a big statement, but all the feedback we've had has been so positive. And just to know that we've got you sitting there and enjoying things gives us great gratification. So thank you to everyone around the world for your kindness. As Loggins delivers to Wienert, he gets another little tip on that to hang in there.
It's been a good at bat for the young man. 1 ball, 2 strikes, and certainly fighting off that 3rd strike, making lots of quite sound contact there. Loggins finally winning supreme as when it swings and misses for the third strike, K2. And
What a pleasure it is to receive such an email as this from Mari and Mark Bashini in California, watching their son play here. I sure have enjoyed watching your broadcast from our home computer in California. Thank you. Well, again, it's just a dead set pleasure. And we really wish your son all the best in his continued endeavours in this great game of baseball.
He is a great story, isn't he? How to fight off the tyranny of injury, and hopefully his season in Australia sets him well and truly on the path back at home in the USA.
And there's their third out, and there's a 3-1 victory for the Cavalry, or a 3-1 series victory to the Cavalry, and they are going bunter in the second middle of the ground at the moment, and so they should. What a great story it is. I mean, this franchise that has battled its way along, doesn't, you know, Canberra is our capital territory, but they're very, very big in softball, and of course they are a little bit in baseball, but they've really been supported by the ABL and Major League Baseball this year to make them competitive. But it's all good to put it in words and writing, but it's another thing to do it on the field. And as they congratulate each other with a strong chance that they've taken top spot, we say goodbye to you as the 10th inning here. And again, we thank you very much for your support and your kind words. It's been an absolute pleasure. So from Andrew Sperling, Jim Manning, John Russell and Peter Wyatt, we are the 10th inning. We say thank you, and we'll see you next season.